It's your listening experience. Voxwave.com.
Check out all your favorite shows at VoxWave.com. On Mondays, we keep it moving with The Kim Show from 11 to 1 p.m. Then it's time for a change with Sherry and Mignon, 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. And then in the end we win with Curtis, 8:15 p.m. to 9:15 p.m. On Tuesdays, 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Start your afternoon with The Wealth Zone with Raymond Starks. Then it's Cooking with Flavors with Chef Flavors, 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. And treat yourself right with My Spa Bath and Body, hosted by Margaret Harris, 7 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Up next is Slick Daddy Rick, Heartbeat Congo Hour, rocking from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Then on Wednesdays, you can't miss Impact the World with Cheryl Woods, 12 noon to 2 p.m. And then from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m., we got Slick Talk with Oscar D and It's the Kid. Then from 8 to 9 p.m., we crank it up with Live Set Wednesdays, hosted by Reg Gaskins. And after that, 9:15 to 10:15 p.m., the BGKH Show with Dominion and Epic. And check out our Thursday lineup, starting with You, Math, and Me, hosted by George Randall from 10 to 10:30 a.m. Then from 7 to 9 p.m., the 640 Evening Show with DJ 640. And on Friday, we start out with Peace in the Morning Show with Darius A. Stan, co-host Delicate Daryl Barnes, and Queen of Sudabed, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. From 10:30 to 11:30, the Hall Street Journal with Robert Hall and co-host Clarence Sanders. And after that, you know we gotta check in with Chanel's 3 Cents, 1:30 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. Up next, from 3 to 4:30 p.m., Daryl Allen Hairston II Crime Victims Foundation Show with your host, Daryl Hairston. Then, from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. is The Rush Hour with DJ Drew and Janique. And from 9:15 to 11:15 p.m., you can't miss Different Mind Show with Bam 640 and DJ Andre Michael, co-host Hillary Banks. Then, start out your Saturday mornings with the Healer Blues Show, hosted by Ron Jackson. After that, 9:30 to 10:30 a.m., The Hour of Power with Reverend Winters Rogers. Then, from 11 a.m. to 12 noon, it's time for Prayer, Praise, and Deliverance with Elder Thurman Gorman Jr. Four Sisters Live Talk, 12:30 to 2:30 p.m. Then every second Saturday, listen to Turning Dreams into Reality Talk Show with Tashika L. Green, 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. After that, from 3 to 4 p.m., we walk in newness 24/7 with Missionary Antoinette. And don't miss, from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m., News, ULM News and Analysis, Information, Sports, Black History, with your host, news anchor Roderick Carter Willis, 4:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. Then, from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m., it's time for DJ Rick, the CEO of Step Your Game Up, the Youth Project, co-hosted by DJ Main and DJ Low Hefe. And then, at 7:45 to 8:45 p.m., it's time for the Fantastic Live Show with MC Fran. And starting out on Sundays, from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., I am Dr. Sharon Show with Dr. Sharon. And every first Sunday, from 3 to 4 p.m., it's the Riri Williams Show, Fashion and Style Hour. And every third Sunday, check out the Tea Talk Show with Dr. Akita Pearson, 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. Then it's time for Real Talk 101, 6 to 8 p.m. And from 8:15 to 9:15 p.m., we're tuned into the Gospel Live TV show with Glory Mello. Stay tuned to Vox Wave, where you can find all your favorite shows.
The world's #1 streaming music station, Voxwave.com. Before I even face the fight, not moved by what I see. I walk by faith and not by sight. All power and authority is given unto me. 'Cause when you're on God's side, oh, we win, we win. Overcomers, we win. Nothing can stop us now. Oh, yeah. Hey, we win, you declare. We proclaim the victory, yeah. Overcomers, we win, yeah. Nothing can stop us now. We win. Oh. We know in God there's no spirit of fear. We'll never feel defeat because He's here. The race is not given to the swift, neither the battle to the strong, but He that endureth to the end. We win.
Good evening, and welcome back to In the End, We Win with Curtis. I am your host, Curtis Alston, and I will be with you for the next hour. We have a very, very powerful show tonight on parenting, and we've got a guest here who is going to share some insights with us on her style of parenting, and then we're going to have a special guest. We'll have her husband come in on after the break. So allow me to introduce our guest, Miss Candace Brown. Hi, good evening. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Excellent. Thanks for being here tonight.
My pleasure.
Wonderful, thank you. Miss Candace and I have known each other now maybe 2 to 3 months.
Yes.
And immediately I was impressed, first and foremost, by her spirit. You hear how meek she is and her tone of conversation, but her story and why I thought she would be important to be on our show is what got me the most. And from that, I just heard her heart.
Thank you.
And I was thoroughly impressed. So I wanted to have her on the show tonight so that you guys can hear and get a little bit of information from her, hear it directly from the source. Because as you know, my whole goal with the show is to bring quality content that we all can use, especially from people who are doing good things, big things in our communities, right? So, Miss Candace, you are a foster parent.
Yes.
Is that a title of a position? Can I say you are a foster parent by trade or
Retired.
retired? I remember you said that as well. Retired.
Yes, retired.
How long retired?
I guess it's been I'm doing this.
Right. So it's been a while.
It's been since 2014.
Okay, about 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you actually become a foster parent?
Well, I didn't want to go back into counseling. I used to be a counselor, social service counselor.
Social services, okay.
And then I was in uniform for a while, and I didn't want to go back into that. So when he got stationed out here, Andrews,
Okay.
my sister was doing foster parent.
Okay.
And he says, well, you could do that. We could help some kids, and
Wonderful.
you wouldn't have to leave the house, and, we could make that work.
Okay.
And I said, okay. And that's how it started. It was really, really kind of easy.
And when was that? What was the time frame of that?
I think we began in It was a turn of, so probably 2000.
2000.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you have, go ahead.
Here.
Here in this area.
Yeah, here, because we were in California, stationed in California, and it began there.
Okay. So you
Yeah.
had foster children in California
Informally.
as well. Informally?
Yes.
Uh-oh. Define that. What's that mean?
Okay, informally means that if we didn't go through the system. We just helped kids in the neighborhood and
Wonderful.
kids that my children dragged to our house, and you could come stay with us. They were
Oh, wow.
always offering us, you know, and that's how it started.
And that's important. That says something though about the household, because what I get when I hear that is that apparently your children felt that your home was peace. There was peace there. There was love. There was the ability to communicate and talk.
Yes.
And maybe some of their friends or these kids that they would say, "Oh, you can just come to our house. Our parents are cool. They're not going to."
Yeah.
Is that about right?
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Where does that come from?
Our house was the house where the neighborhood house where all the kids were all the time. So if there were parents in the neighborhood and they were looking for their kid, they knew
to come to you guys. Mm-hmm. Where does that come from? Is that how you grew up, or was that
I
just
did.
You did?
Yes, my mom did it. My grandma did it. You know, it was always the house in the neighborhood.
Okay.
So I just continued.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah. And your sister was doing it too, I think you said.
She's
she was a foster parent.
She lives here.
Okay.
And she was doing it. And she still had all her hair, so I thought I'd try.
That's funny. So what exactly is the difference between a foster parent and an adoptive parent?
A foster parent is just the kids are still in the system. Okay, so the social workers and the attorneys and all of those things are still in their lives. When they become adopted, they are your children. Period.
Out of the system, no longer having those.
They have a different support system.
Okay.
Now, when you adopt a child, you're taking them out of one system, but they are actually in another. But it's not as strenuous or strict or anything like that because they're your children. So you make the ultimate decisions for them.
Why?
You see, so they became Browns.
Okay.
Period.
So do you have children of your own, biological?
3. Yes.
How did they adapt to you bringing on foster children?
They were the ones dragging them to me, so.
Oh, really?
They were, so they were fine with it, you know. But we did have to talk to them because, excuse me, bringing children, different children into your home, you have other kinds of issues that you may not have had with because you raised them from birth.
Mm-hmm. So you know your own
kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So when you take in children, it takes a little bit of time to get to know. You know, some of them had some really, really rough roads, and our heart just kind of went out to them. You see, you kind of want to make it better.
Sure.
And so it came easy for me because, you know, a child is hurting. You're a mom. You want to make it better, so to speak. And I guess one of the first things I noticed with most of the children was they didn't laugh.
They didn't laugh.
They didn't laugh.
Oh,
they
wow.
didn't smile. The things we thought were hilarious, they didn't get it.
What did that tell you, though?
It wasn't modeled.
It wasn't modeled.
It wasn't modeled. they didn't see that
in their
their
time in the system or wherever
Yes.
they had been.
with their or with their biological parenting. So that to me, the indication of happiness is when the house is full of laughter. You see, and it could be something really silly, but everybody's relaxed and everybody's getting it, kind of thing. Everybody's at the table, you see, and they eventually they have their own jokes or their own spin on how things were that day. We always asked, and some of it was just like, okay, I didn't get that, but I'd be ha 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 ha, kind
Just to
of
make 'em
thing.
feel good.
Yeah, but it was fun to see them finally smile.
Sure. Awesome. Wow. So what prepares someone to open their home to foster parenting? Are there anything special? Is there anything special that you have to do for your home? Is it all mental? Is it just preparation?
You have to go
physically?
through a lot. You have to be fingerprinted. You have to be cleared.
By
FBI.
FBI.
You have to be cleared through social services. Your home has to be inspected for safety, and if there's ample room for the children. It's a lot.
Is it?
It's a lot. So it's something that you have to prepare your heart for and your mind, because one child brings about 7 people with them. Educational advocate, social worker, sometimes 2. They're psychologists. Some of them have in-house therapy, so they come to your house in the children's environment. Social workers, different attorneys,
Oh, wow.
and that's just for one kid.
So how many kids did you eventually foster?
We fostered 36 kids.
Wow.
36 kids
From
through the
2000,
years.
from 2000 to 2014.
Well, remember now, I did
California.
it informally, but we count them all because they're still in our lives.
Wow. Today.
They're still in our lives. So, like I said, they became ours. So we still are concerned about them. We still want to know. They're having children of their own. So now I'm a foster grandmommy.
Oh, yeah. Your first? This is the first?
No. Some of them's names I can't pronounce, but it's still it's fun. It's I like it because now they have to change the diapers and they have to run after them, and now the kids are going to keep you up all night. You see, it's kind of thing. So, but it's a different kind of life, but it's a good life.
Was it rewarding to you
Very.
at all? Really?
Very.
Why?
Because when your kids are out of the system per se, adopted or aged out means they're 21 and no more services. But we kept ours. We kept our kids. See, because it was never about any of what they were talking about. You see, it was the fact that they were our kids. And some of them mature a little quicker than others.
Sure.
But as a parent, you recognize that. You recognize that, and some of them are just not prepared.
Right. So we are just getting involved in the midst of our conversation with Miss Candace Brown, and she's already begun to share some points on why she chose, how she chose to foster parent. So if any one of you tuned in are interested in reaching or contacting her, asking questions or anything like that, if you have any comments or suggestions, you can dial into the show live at 240-719-2560. Just do us a favor, and however you are viewing the show, please turn that device down and listen strictly to your phone, because you will be live. And once my sound man Ron picks up the phone, he will patch you into the show and we'll be able to speak directly to you, but I will need you to listen into your phone. So dial in at 240-719-2560. So, Ms. Brown, did you have any preference of male to female?
I did at first.
You did at first?
Yeah.
What did you prefer?
Girls.
Why? Why so?
Well, to me, it was just easier, being a woman myself, to relate
Really?
to
Really?
to relate to some of the things that they were going through.
Okay.
That's all. Besides, girls like to do dress up, they like to do their hair,
Okay.
they like to do my hair, and I like that.
Oh, gotcha.
Now I got to pay for it, so.
Gotcha.
And so, but with them, it was nice to go shopping, do girl stuff, watch girly movies. You can't do that with a dude.
With a dude. So let me ask, for viewers who may be tuning in and have considered foster parenting or even adopting children, is there, and I don't want to make this about money, but are there any rewards from the state or the local government?
I wouldn't say rewards. The money that you get is not a lot, so you can't do it for the money.
Mm.
If that's where your heart is, you're going to be very disappointed.
Mm.
You see, so because we spent above and beyond, but it was never about that.
Okay.
Never. And so I suggest that you search your heart and really pray on it, because there's a lot of changes, and then you have to decide what type of child you're willing to open your home to.
What does that mean?
That means we did therapeutic kids,
Which
means they're on medication.
Mm.
They have to see a psychologist weekly.
So mental health
Mental health, yes.
challenges.
Substance abuse, some.
Wow.
And so you really have to pray on it and ask for guidance, because my husband, thank God for husbands, with skills, patched walls, put doors back on hinges, replace windows.
So that you're insinuating these children at times would
Act out.
have
They act
episodes and
Well,
destroy.
It's acting out.
Okay.
It's acting out. It's also teens. We took in older children.
Older meaning teenagers?
Yes. 12, I think. Yeah, 12 and up, because it's harder to place them.
Wow.
And that's what God had us to do.
So you guys are hearing it, and this is why I wanted to have her on the show tonight, because I heard her and her husband's heart in the conversation when we met, and over the month and a half, 2 months that we've known each other, how she's just talked about how as you heard, it wasn't about the money. You've heard that it was that some of the children that she was taking in had mental challenges and things like that. I don't know too many people that would bring on 36
Through the years.
children, teenagers, because I know that there was one time when I was praying that there would be a way that we could freeze our children at a certain age and then unthaw them once they got to
Absolutely.
maybe 25, right?
Absolutely.
Because those years become challenging. And to say,
I just had a flashback.
and we're going to get into that too. I'd like to hear a story or two of some of your more challenging children, and even I don't want to just make it about the challenges. I want to hear some of the goods as well. But that's why I wanted to have you on, because I was impressed by your heart, and I don't know too many angels that's walking around that's
Thank you.
really opening up their home. And we're going to have Mr. Brown on the show after the break, and we're going to get his input, and we're going to thank him publicly as well for just assisting our community. So that being said, was there a culture that you, or was there a certain nationality that you sought out in the children that you brought in?
It didn't matter. Kids are kids. Kids are kids. It didn't matter.
So is it safe to say you did not have all African American children?
Well, I did end up with all African American children, but I let them know that we would take anybody.
Wonderful. Okay.
And my sister is she has all races.
Wow. So
All
she's
races.
still actively.
She's still active. Her and her husband. They're retired military as well. And
Wow.
they still have them.
Wow. You just like to you just have a heart to give.
Well, the children, they need to know that they can do better. They need to know that. And they need to be supported in that. And you need to also model it. You see, I love it when, especially after I changed my mind about not having boys, we began to take boys in. And my husband and I would have a date night. And when my boys would say, "Mom, that's so awesome," I loved it. Because we were modeling
How
what
men,
is and how a husband and wife should be, a mom and a dad, should be, and love them. My husband would make sure that we would have our time, but we had a girls' day out with mom. We had a girls' day out with dad. We had a sons and mom day kind of thing, and then we'd have all of them.
Wow.
So, but my husband thought of that. I just wanted to go to sleep. So
Keep it real. Keep it 100. That's what we do.
because it takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of energy.
Right.
And if they're fighting each other, Lord have mercy. Thank you, Lord. We made it through.
Wow.
And that's what that book is about. They're all the children. There's no fiction in there.
Okay. So she let the cat out the bag. I know you guys may have seen it. You guys may have been watching or seeing it in your camera view, but Ms. Brown has written a book. Unfortunately, it is out of print. However, she is redoing it or updating it.
Conversion,
making a conversion of the book, and we'll have it available on Kindle. and I have disturbed it, and it's not standing up straight. But anyway, the name of the book is Humor Helps, a comic book for parents.
Yes.
So explain that. What does that mean? Humor helps, and I see the picture here has the woman with her hands like
Yeah, pulling her hair out.
pulling her hair out.
It's one of those days.
Oh, okay.
You see.
But humor helps.
Because it does. You have to teach the children how to laugh at us, themselves, you see, because remember, it was one of the first things we noticed. No
They
laughter.
weren't smiling
no
and
laughter. No laughter. And even for us, on the days, my husband come home tired, and the boss done got on his last nerve because he only had one left for the day, and he walks in because we had like 6 kids at one time, you see, because remember now I have my own, you see, so we had to learn how to laugh at stuff and laugh it off as well, you see, so humor does help. You see, and if all else fails, get everybody in the kitchen and cook something.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. That'll calm them down too.
They love to eat. Yeah.
That's them boys.
And well, the girls did pretty good too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and Mama do pretty good too. So, but it's family time. You could bond over food. You could bond around the table. Kind of thing, and it doesn't seem that serious.
Did you make a point to eat dinner together?
I did.
As a family?
Yes.
Every night or just
No,
one night out of the
no,
week?
because we wouldn't always be at the table per se.
Sure.
Some of us would, we'd have kids' day, kids' night, kids' choice. So the kids would choose what they wanted to eat and where they wanted to eat, and we'd have to join. Like of course, where they want to eat. They want to eat in front of TV. But that was not a daily occurrence. It was like a treat, a reward.
Good for you. Wonderful.
So you get creative in having the children bond together, bond with us, and family time.
Wonderful.
So we ate a lot of hot dogs. It seems like that's
what they want.
That's what they wanted. Hot dogs, pizza, which is fine. Let them have it. But also, you got to eat them veggies and those veggies. And no, we not frying no chicken. You see, kind of thing. So, but it's all in fun. That's a very good word. Balance is important. You can't just be just one thing.
Right.
In anything, including us. You see, so when Mr. Brown comes on the second half of the show, we're going to talk about the discipline. So I don't want to get too much into that right now, but how did things go when they left the home, let's say for school or any after-school activities? How did they act and respond to other kids who may have found out that they were foster children? And kids can be cruel. Yes, they can.
And did you guys have many occurrences outside of the home that you had to step in and?
Yes, we did. They were picked on, pointed at, kind of thing. But the thing is that that's when we had to step up. You see, like if they're picked on at school, every school knows who I am. You see, and I'd say I'm here for my child. Well, which one is yours? Those three right there.
That one, that one, and that one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and that one, kind of thing. So, but and you have to show up for these kids. You have to show up for the kids, period.
So how important is that? Because I think
It's
that's
very-
I think that's an issue that we're experiencing with biological kids.
Yeah, of course. That's why I said you have to show it for the kids, period.
I was afforded an opportunity to become PTO president of one of my son's elementary schools, and it was depressing how parents did not support, did not come out, did not participate. They would drop the kids off when we had meetings. They would drop the kids off for events and then go and run errands or go and do whatever and leave them there for us. We had done creative things like making sure we had meals there, because some parents would complain, well, I got to get home and fix dinner.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to have dinner here.
Sure.
Come and sit, have dinner with your child
Sure.
here while we have the
It's
meeting.
important.
And there was just no it
Well,
was tough.
I don't want to sound like I'm just not in agreement. I am. But kind of give them a little leeway.
Who, the parents?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because a lot of the children, single parent homes, they don't have the help. You see, they don't have help at home. They're everything. They have to be mom, dad, grandma, grandpa. They have to, that one parent has to be all those things. They have to be the transportation. They have to be the activity coach. They have to do it. And they also have to work because you got to pay the rent. You got to pay for that car that brought them
drop
there
them
to
off.
drop them off. So I understand what you're saying because we've experienced that as well. But I've also had to drop mine off a couple of times, you see. So the activities are very important. You see, that's where the kid finds out what they're good at.
Definitely.
And it's important. You get to rah, rah, rah and clap. And I was the loudest one.
Good for you.
You know, kind of thing. And it was like, that's just my mom. She always does that. You know, kind of thing. But
That was me too.
yeah.
I used to do that.
Sure. Kind of thing. So, but we end up, I think my husband came home one day and I've had it with all 6 of them. And that's me on the front, pulling out my hair. And when he came in, I handed him the paperwork. And I said, you need to sign under my name. And he said, what's going on? I said, I enlisted all of them in the Junior Marines.
Perfect. Let's stop right there. Let's stop right there.
Okay.
So we're going to take a 2 to 3 minute break, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to come right back on the other side. We are going to have Mr. Brown, live and in person, so he'll be able to respond, and we'll hear his perspective. So thank you for tuning in. Don't forget you can call in with questions, comments, or concerns, 240-719-2560, and we will be right back. Thank you.
It now features a streaming radio media player on our website's front page where local artists can get their music played 24/7. For more information on getting your music in rotation or to perform live at our studio, contact Reg Gaskins at 240-832-4455.
Android users, the VoxWave app is now available in the Google Play Store. Download the app today on your Android device to listen in and view programs.
Business owners looking for a place to advertise your business and promote your products and services? VoxWave is the right place. We have over 10,000 views a day and 70,000 listeners a month. For more information, contact Reg Gaskins at 240-832-4455.
Vox Radio, along with Then Sings My Soul Productions, is pleased to announce Wyoming Paris's Then Sings My Soul musical. The TSMS group is seeking support in our movement concerning domestic violence. This soul-stirring stage production is not to entertain, but to educate, encourage, and help eradicate this horrible disease that's plaguing women, men, and children who are affected daily in households across the world. Please join us in supporting 3-year-old Skylar Johnson's Scholarship Fund. Skylar's grandmother was murdered by her fiance, then leaving Skylar's mother at age 3 to be raised by her uncle and maternal grandmother. To make your tax-deductible donation to a Skylar Johnson Scholarship Fund and for ticket information on Then Sings My Soul stage play in Brooklyn, New York on May 5th and 6th, visit thensingsmysoul.org. That's www.thensingsmysoul.org. Vox Radio, along with Then Sings My Soul Productions, is pleased to announce Wyoming Paris's Then Sings My Soul musical. The TSMS group is seeking support in our movement concerning domestic violence. This soul-stirring stage production is not to entertain, but to educate, encourage, and help eradicate this horrible disease that's plaguing women, men, and children who are affected daily in households across the world. Please join us in supporting 3-year-old Skylar Johnson Scholarship Fund. Skylar's grandmother was murdered by her fiance, then leaving Skylar's mother at age 3 to be raised by her uncle and maternal grandmother. To make your tax-deductible donation to a Skylar Johnson Scholarship Fund and for ticket information on Then Sings My Soul stage play in Brooklyn, New York on May 5th and 6th, visit thensingsmysoul.org. That's www.thensingsmysoul.org.
Thank you for tuning in. We are back. You are tuned in to In the End We Win with Curtis. And tonight's guests are Candace and Wendell and Candace Brown. Our new family, our new friends.
Yes.
And we are talking about parenting, but more importantly, we are talking about having the heart to foster parent. And I was moved and impressed by Candace's story, or Mrs. Brown's story, when we met and we began to talk and she began to share, and I thought it would just be important to have her to come on in case someone out there is interested in becoming a foster parent. Let me ask this. Would you guys still say that is a viable way and that is a good thing to do for someone who's considering it?
I would.
Yes, I would say that. So, yeah.
You would?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So we heard a little bit from Mrs. Brown. So let's hear from Mr. Brown for a few minutes since he's the new guy at the table.
Yeah.
Mr. Brown, so you obviously were in the home
Yes.
with the foster parenting, but it was also your responsibility to work every day while
Correct.
Mrs. Brown, Mrs. Candace, stayed home with the children.
That's correct. Yeah, when we became the foster parent, we had to have our own strategy on how we was going to be a complete team, and with the kids coming in, they would be complete as well with our plan on how we was going to foster parent. I had my roles, she had her roles, and with the kids, we would, as we would get them in, well, not get them in, but when they come into our home, we always had, guidelines.
Sure.
And, so we know that when they came in with whatever, their baggage were, whatever disappointment they had in their lives and all that, while they consider, quote, like sizing us up. Because, one parent got to be like the other parent. So, but we had to pretty much work together and put them on ease and let them know that, hey, look, if you go to her, it comes to me.
Mm-hmm.
So it complete that circle every time. Mm-hmm. So you can't tell her a secret and I don't know it because we're a team. Mm-hmm. And that's the way we pretty much kind of work with our kids. And when it would come to the time of discipline and all that, then that was my role.
Okay.
We didn't get off into laying hands and abusing.
Oh, so you guys did not spank?
Oh, no.
Oh, no, it was conversation. It was all strictly conversation because we let them know that, in society now and in the world, when you talk to somebody, it's eye to eye. It ain't dropping the head, turning the head, nothing like that. So, especially the boys. And when I spoke with them, it was eye to eye because I will always tell them that, to know your soul is through your eyes. So as I'm looking through your eyes, I know you. And you looking in mine, you know who I am. And they kind of respected that. I didn't talk down to them, and I told them, you don't talk down to me. And most of all, you don't talk down to my queen.
Amen.
And so once they...
Say that again.
And especially the guys, once they understood that, then they kind of understood what their position was, where they fit in with the family, and whatever we did it together. It wasn't separated. I mean, if one said that, hey, look, I don't feel good today. Okay, what's going on? We need to go to the doctor, whatever. So it wasn't always an excuse, to deal with life.
Sure.
So we took our vacation, even if it was just down to the park, sandwich, oranges or whatever. But we made an effort that we wanted to show them that we was part of their life, and that no matter where you at or who says something to you, you can always point to us and say, that's my mom, that's my dad over there. It ain't about names. It ain't about the last name, And when we addressed each other, it was about the first name.
Amen.
But then when it got to the point where that it was being, official, who we are, whatever, then we identify that way. But we still show them that, look, we don't care what last name you got. It's the love that's in this family, and that's the way we
That's what we are
build
abiding
it.
by.
That's what abiding by, and that's the way we built everything.
Okay.
And it's just that throughout the years, is so much to talk about, and with all the kids that we had, and to just see that reward with them that it was fulfilling to know that I had something to do with that child's life. For where that child started and where that child is at now, and just to get a phone call and say, "Hey, Dad, how you doing?" I just called, to see how you doing. Happy Father's Day or whatever, and we'd chuckle. We'd talk on the phone, and then I would turn around and ask, You sure you don't need nothing? No, I'm good. I'm good. But
Checking in.
we will always keep in contact,
Yes.
know where they're at,
Yes.
and we'll show up on their doorstep
Yes.
from time to time.
Yes.
You know, whether, you know, if they have a child, they will call us, and then we always do the nicknames. We didn't do the personal name.
Right.
We'll nickname one
All
of the
of
kids,
them.
all of them. And, you know, we don't do a lot of Facebook, but we let them know that, hey, look, we got our eye out on you. And they were like, what do you mean? So, we watching now. We watching. And we tell them time and time, you need to take this down. You need to take this down.
go.
Yeah.
And, you know, and when they see that we're still, you know,
Yes.
like plugging into their
That's
lives, and
right.
we're still looking in, you know, and they tend to just hold their head up a little higher, you know, and they just keep moving and,
Right.
and keep
Wow.
striving, you know, to be good. But
So that's great.
Yeah.
There's a lot in there, but I want to get back to you drew the line. You were signing them. You were signing
Oh,
them
the
over.
Junior Marines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were signing them over. How did that work out? How did that end?
that
That was awesome.
was a turning point.
Yeah.
Oh,
That
really?
was, that was one of the best things that we could ever done for the kids.
What was that?
Because see,
I didn't know
the
you
Junior
talked.
Marines are like when
was quiet.
Yeah,
when she signed them up. I mean, I was kind of a little skeptical about it at first because I mean, like, oh my God, you know, my wife done come up with this another idea. Well, we signed them up. I mean, we still have the pictures today when all of them
Yeah,
are
we do.
standing there in uniform, and you got small kids doing this here, you
Yeah.
know. But
It is the cutest
it
thing.
was when they started, they was trying to find ways not to do it, but every weekend, suit up, let's go.
Down the road.
You know, and down the road, and they spend the weekend in junior Marine camps, and you know, and they learn about the outdoors life. They learn the discipline, how to
Discipline, survival.
survive themselves, and they was away from us.
And
Yes.
you know that's actually kind of something that I had thought of years ago with after spending the time as the PTO president and seeing some of the discipline challenges that our elementary schools were having, and then hearing, you know, just the, you know, cradle to the prison pipeline and all of that good stuff. I had thought about, instead of having middle school, when the kids get out of finish elementary school, send them to a military school for those 2 or 3 years that they would spend in junior high or middle school to learn that discipline and to learn and all of that good stuff. And then I thought, and I firmly believe that would decrease the discipline issues that we're having in high school and beyond.
Yes.
And it sounds like that worked for you guys.
It did.
Tremendously, it did work for us, and you know, even to this day, they remember and thank us,
That's
you know,
true.
for not pushing them through it, but you know, staying with them, and you know, constantly talking to them all the time that, you know, there's a reward after this. You know, you're gonna get something out of this, and even like now, I see it in their lives. You know, they're teaching their kids, you know, the same thing. How to be disciplined and then enjoy life, you know. And you know, we will always tell them that don't sweat the small stuff,
Right.
you know. But I knew one thing though, but God, every Sunday, it's just like me and my wife and all these kids coming in.
Whole pew.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, the church just knew that we need to reserve these seats for the Browns that are coming in.
Took up the
And
whole
they
That's
was,
wonderful.
you know, and they was all in there, and we were all looked down the road like no sleeping, you know, and it was just wonderful, and you know, but people kind of looked on to us. He's like, how do you do it?
That's right.
You know, it was
That's
always
right.
that question, how do you do it? And, you know, all right, well, hey, look, you know, if it wasn't for him,
Oh my
you know,
God.
I'd have been like maybe the picture on this book, pulling my hair.
Pulling your hair out.
Yeah,
That's me.
but you know, all of the boys and the girls as well.
Yes.
You know, when we got them to that point of respect, you know,
Very
no matter
important.
who you come in contact with, you know, respect is given, it will be received. And when they learned that technique, it was always yes, ma'am, no, ma'am,
Yes.
you know,
Wonderful.
and held their head high and spoke all the time
To this day.
to this day. And you know, and we solely believe that all of the kids, you know, they just want somebody to love them,
That's
right. Yes.
you know, to teach them, and even if they made a mistake, hug them anyway, and tell them, hey, look, it's gonna be all right. We just need to think this thing through, and it's gonna be fine, you know, because they tend to go through a lot of disappointment in their lives, and when you move from one house to another and to another,
That says
and
something.
then you say, well, okay, I was at that house 1 week. Well, I'll probably be here for like another week, maybe 3 days.
They didn't
and they
unpack.
come in with that. But whenever they got to our house, we always told them, this is
This your
where
last stop.
your last stop. And they were like, what do you mean by that? This is where you're going to stop.
This is it.
This is your
Wow.
home. This is where you're going to stop. And they will always just say, no. And all of these behaviors and all this will come out. You know, and that's what we will want. We will want to see it all. Because once we see it, then
You
we
know
how
what to deal with.
We know what to deal with, and we know how to deal with, know how to talk to them. And they just start to mellow out. And when they mellow out, God just let them know, this is what I need you to feed them. And
That's awesome.
we just pour into their lives and
Yes.
kept pouring into their lives. But, you know, it's just, I mean, to tell any foster parent is that, you know, it ain't about the money, but if you will pour out the love from your heart, you can win any kid over.
And don't
know,
treat them different.
Right, no difference. I don't care what color their skin is, how they speak, or their education level, or whatever. You know, it's just sitting down and just teaching.
So was there ever any conflict between your biological and the foster children?
Well, only thing I can say, any kind of conflict between the biological and foster kid is kids are going to be kids.
Sure.
You know, but our biological kids knew us very well, and we knew them very well. They knew the love in the house, and what we poured into them, they wanted to pour into others, and so they would
They helped us.
accept them. You know, and it wasn't like, well, you're a foster kid. No, they never
No.
said that. They said, you're my brother, or you're my sister, and that's the way we did it. It wasn't no names, you
Right.
know,
No
your last name.
separation.
No separation whatsoever was in the house. It was like when you came through that door, you was a part of what's here. You know, whatever's on the outside of that door, I ain't got nothing to do with it. But whatever's inside here, this is where we live.
So do you guys have a favorite?
No.
On the kid side, well, we would have our personal favorite, but we wouldn't, you know, pretty
No.
much like put it out there and
Make it
open
known.
Yeah, we don't let it be known. But we don't. We always, every parent's got their personal favorite.
Right.
But
No.
we would do things where we would get them involved. It's like Sundays. Oh, Sunday was it. This is where the talent come out. We will all get together in the living room, and we will pick our song that we're gonna sing, and you get up in front and you perform. Yeah, every one of the kids would get up and
Yeah.
they would get up and they would sing. It didn't matter what they did, even
Talent show.
even if they did comedian or whatever, they act silly or whatever. Everybody laughed, joked, you know, and
It was
and
great.
They looked so forward to that
They did.
day.
Weekly event.
Yes,
Every
because
Sunday.
everything would come out. They would talk about everything. I mean, if it was a
great.
crying moment, a sad moment, you know, we just sit and listen, and everybody like, yeah, okay, all right, you got it out,
Yeah.
and that was it. And we just went on about our
to the
business.
next one.
Yeah, but
I want to say that the wonderful thing about that is we taped all of it.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
oh yeah,
Taped all of it.
Yeah.
And so when, like Christmas time, We send them their own pictures when they were their kids' age. And we send them copies of the, before it was 8-track. Now, now it's,
Discs.
yeah, CDs,
CDs,
DVDs. And we send them that for Christmas. We send them their life because they need to understand that they had one. They need to know that. They need to remember that.
Wow. So how do we get through? And I'm sure you guys watch the news, hear about what's going on in our communities today with our young men and young women. And actually, I heard a report the other day where the rate of women being incarcerated now is surpassing the rate of young men, and then the whole, this whole thing with, sagging their pants, and
that wasn't allowed.
What is the, did you guys ever have to deal with, them coming in and trying to adopt some of the fads and,
yes,
this, that, and the other?
We were pretty much, even with all the fads that was out there, we would know of it, and we let them know that we do know of it. Then we pretty much educate them on it, what it really means. Even though you stereotype and you do what the other do, well, we're gonna let you know what it really means. So when we tell them what it really means, then we actually let them know that it is not acceptable in our household. So you need to pull up, tighten up, straighten up. And they, and they really respected that.
They did.
Because every one of the boys that we had, even my own sons, they kind of slacked off to that, and we like, check.
Would you say that you saw then in the kids, in these children, once they realized how your house was run, do you think that they said in their mind, man, I really like it here. I'm going to obey. I'm going to pull my pants up. I'm going to listen because I don't want to leave here. Do you think that they've made decisions like that?
They did.
Yes.
They did?
They did, yeah, because they adhered to all of it.
Yes, without a doubt.
All of it. They adhered to all the rules. And we didn't keep anything from them. Okay, this is the way it's done here. And we're not just telling you to do it, we do it as well.
That's right. That's that modeling, right?
Yes, that's that modeling. And so it's really important to do. It really is. He can't walk around without a belt or sagging, you see, and and tell them to do. Yeah, can't do it. So everybody has belts. Everybody has belts, and the girls have to dress like ladies. You see.
And we'll always tell the boys, we go get in the car, I would just tell them, you need to open your mom's door.
And
always
Mom waited for it, too.
Open your mom's door.
Yeah.
And they open the door and they'll wait.
Cute.
It was always,
Cute.
I was teaching you always, I don't care who she is or what she look like, you respect her. You respect her. I always tell my boys that, degrading, the women's doesn't get you anywhere. So why would you search for a wife and you degrading her constantly?
As
Why would you
girlfriend.
do that? And they were like, well, Dad, you got a point there. I said, well, wouldn't you want someone like your mom? But you can't have her because I got her. So you have to look for your own. But
You could say that again.
but they even to this day, all the boys that came in contact actually sent other young gentlemen to me all the time. You need to talk to my dad. You need to talk to him. So, and when I do meet him, my first thing is to listen.
Amen.
Just to listen, because all of them got a story. All of them got a story. They got a story of what their life is like, and I always hear, nobody cares. Nobody cares. The biggest word that comes out, nobody cares. And I would say, there's a lot of people care. It's just that you have to stand still and listen. Use what God give you, but you are willing to take on all of the stereotype and the names that people put upon us. Everybody give you a name. I say, is it K-A-K or KK or whatever name it is out there. Everybody give you a name other than who you really are, and they listen. And then I say, first thing, all young black men, you need to get your finance together. Always tell them that. You need to get your finance together. Every day that God blesses you with something, he already prepared you for tomorrow. So why are you standing out here on this corner? Every foreigner that comes here in the United States, I tell them that all the time. Their mind concept is that this is a free country and everybody here is a millionaire. Why aren't you? So why don't you adhere to it? Quit blaming people for what you're doing and why you're where you are. Nobody put you there. It's a mindset.
Unacceptable.
And if you change that mind thought, believe me, you will succeed. And I tell you, that's the first thing you don't do. And my sons, even to this day, they always call me, Dad, I want to have what you have. I said, no, you want to have more than what I have.
Right.
That's the way you need to think.
Right.
You want more than what I have. But it's life. And if I had to do it all over again, I'm sure that we would do it a little different.
Oh, yeah.
If we had to do it all over again.
Right.
Because from what we have learned over the years with the kids that we have came in contact with, and kids are still coming. And
sounds like you guys are coming out of retirement.
No.
no.
Mama's
The kids
not
that are
willing.
coming are just for advice.
I got you.
They come for advice.
They do.
Right. So, wow, interesting hour, and time flies.
It did.
Time flies.
It
So
did.
unfortunately, that's the end of another awesome show, I believe. I pray that you all heard something, got something that you can use, even whether you're foster parenting or just have your own biological children. You've heard them display how their house looked when these kids came in, and just love and laughter and fun and all of that stuff. And prayerfully, you all got something. So we're going to wrap it up right here for tonight's show. Thank you, Mr. Wendell and Miss Candace.
Thank you
Mrs.
for having
Candace
us.
Brown. Really appreciate you both
Sure.
for coming on and imparting these words of wisdom and just sharing your heart, because that's what I heard, and I know that's all that it can be, to open up your house to 36 strangers, if you will. And we appreciate you for that.
Well, we appreciate what you guys are doing.
We working on it. We trying to get there.
appreciate that.
It's coming.
We appreciate it. Amen. So thank you all for tuning in. This is another episode, another week of In the End We Win with Curtis. I am your host, Curtis Austin, and I look forward to seeing you guys same bat time on next week, Monday. Thank you, and have a great rest of your week.
Yes.
Good night.
Good night.